Random House says it will publish new volumes coming up very soon. More on these stories at townhall.com.
The following is an America Matters media production. The views expressed do not necessarily represent those of the station or its advertisers, although we think they should. But that's the opinion of America Matters Media.
Vote for me and I'll set you free.
Freedom's just another word for nothing left to lose. Come together right now over me.
All right, folks, you certainly know what that theme song means by now. That's right, it's time for another episode of America Matters. I'm your host, Leo Zacky, with Eddie Floyd and Shannon Lawson there in the booth today. It is Wednesday, April 23rd. It is 12:05 p.m. That means we're in our second hour today of America Matters, and we're so glad you're here with us. Thanks for tuning in, especially everybody out there who's tuned in on 93.7 KPGF, as well as AM 1060. Thank you so much for being with us today, and everybody out there listening on AUN Television, Radio for America, the Salem Network, the Answer Network, the Kevin Jackson Network, and a big thank you to all of those on those networks that help push this show and put it out there for all of you to listen and partake in. Don't forget, you can always comment and get involved with the show. Make sure you comment, like, and subscribe on this. You can do that by going to the America Matters Media's Facebook page, and you can also go to Zacky Radio on Rumble or YouTube. Excellent places to go and do that. Comment on the live show. We want to hear from you and get involved like so many have already done in the first hour. You can do that by texting in at 775-384-4444. Real simple. So make sure you do. We want to hear from you. Eddie, I'm kicking it over to you, brother.
Funny because the moment you said that number, I got a text that came in from John Gavigan in Mesa, Arizona. He said, California used to be my home until your now governor, Gruesome Newsom, turned it into a place that I don't even like to drive into now. What would you say your four number one issues are, and how do you plan to resolve them, Leo?
Well, I appreciate that question. My top, four, okay. Water, homelessness, corruption, and I mean, such a toss. There's so many problems. I don't know. I mean, do I want to say? I mean, education's a big deal, but so are wildfires here. It's tough. I'd say those are my top five. So
yeah.
I'll let you interchange which one you want to make my top four, but those would be my top five.
Well, you know what I'd like you to do, because it was water, which was the one I presented to our board of directors, and all of them were in love with your idea about capturing the water and what to do with it when you did.
Thanks. So I appreciate that, Eddie. Well, I mean, look, water solution is really simple. It's going to rain. It's going to snow. Collect it. It's not that hard. We haven't built any significant water infrastructure here in the state in over 50 years. And we can upgrade the existing infrastructure we have. We can build new reservoirs. We can dam up all along the canyons there in the Sierra Nevada to capture that snowpack. So there's a lot of things that we can do. And also the concreted up rivers that we have in our major metropolitan areas that just flow freely to the sea when it rains. Don't get me wrong, it's for flood control, but, look, you dam it up, you build a spillway, you put purification plants along that. Wow, congratulations, you built yourself a nice, big, long reservoir. So there are a lot of things we can do. And desalinization, another big thing. And then people often say, well, what are we going to do? We don't have enough electricity. Well, small modular nuclear reactors, folks. Really simple. You don't have to worry about them melting down or anything like that. You can control them remotely. They have very long service lives, like 30, 40 plus years. So, and if you just have them, built out, essentially as substations, you just have all that replete infrastructure, then the redundancy makes it simple. You don't have to worry about running out of power, and power becomes cheap. Water becomes abundant. Therefore, water becomes cheap. More water means more water for farmers. More water for farmers means more crops. More crops means we don't need to use all those awful chemicals. Well, we don't need to use those chemicals anyways, but more water, more crops, less poisonous chemicals, more healthy food, more food grown, more profits made, cheaper food, puts California in a position where we can actually then export our extra water, which we can do by using the Colorado River Shed. And when you do that, it's really simple because we share it with Colorado, Utah, Idaho, Nevada, Arizona, and Mexico. So we just auction off our portion, and you don't have to build any infrastructure to pipe it out. And you can use that money to then pay down the debt and eventually facilitate other wants and needs for the Californian people. Really simple.
I think a real issue is one that you're addressing head on, and that's because of the illegals. There seems to be, if you will, there seems to be a problem with crime lately because of the homeless situation.
Yeah, well, we have a big issue with homelessness. We have a big issue with illegal immigrants. Fact of the matter is that our state the leadership in our state is still pushing this sanctuary city nonsense, sanctuary state nonsense, and it's giving out incentives for illegals to be here, to come here, and to stay here. And it's all at the expense of we the people. So
Right.
it's really simple. Just do away with the incentives and they'll go away.
Now here's one that I love that just came in. This just now came in, and the gentleman's name is Barney Henderson, and he writes in from Salt Lake City, Utah. Barney, thank you for listening to the show. But he says, people think that because of where I live, we don't have crime problems like they do in California. I'm here to tell you there's crime on every street corner in every city in the United States of America.
Yeah, well, Barney, the reason for that is, a down economy. You can blame the Biden administration for that. You can blame Democratic leadership in respective states for that. I mean, it's that simple. When times are tough and economies are down, people resort to crime. So
Right.
if you really want to do a good job at making crime and mitigate it and make it as uncommon as possible, create an environment that promotes business, that promotes job creation, that allows people to then keep the money they earn instead of being taxed into oblivion like we are here in California at 14.9%, which is crazy.
That's nuts.
On top of the federal income tax of 35%, which is also insane. We have to create additional revenue streams to fund our government. And another great thing we can do is also shrink our government and put more independence on we the people and stop being so dependent on government. So
Right.
that's what we have to take on, that responsibility ourselves. So it's quite literally going to take all of us to make this happen. But
Amen.
we got to take our first break here on America Matters. When we get back, we'll continue the conversation. I'm Leo Zacky with Eddie Floyd and Shannon Lawson. We'll be right back.
At A Proper Fit Footwear in the Reno Town Mall, we've been accomplishing happy feet for over 30 years.
We offer a various range of shoe styles and sizes for both men and women. From all-season shoes and orthotics to work boots and safety shoes, our professional and reliable staff possesses the knowledge to help you find the proper shoes to fit your needs. Hard to fit? Hard to find?
A Proper Fit Footwear is here to give our customers happy feet. We make people aware of potential foot problems as we're sizing their feet, suggesting the right arch support, and guiding them to the proper shoes for their needs.
Stop by A Proper Fit Footwear at 4001 South Virginia Street in the Reno Town Mall today, and allow the owner Mike Jones and our fabulous staff to find the perfect pair of shoes tailored to your specific needs.
A Proper Fit Footwear in the Reno Town Mall, the home of happy feet, where comfort and your feet meet.
Ugh, I'm so over this. I diet, I work out, and the scale won't budge.
I hear you. Nothing's more discouraging than doing all that work and seeing no result.
I just don't get it. I'm eating healthy, hitting the gym. What's your secret?
Honestly, I was in the same boat until I found Active Life Integrated Health.
Wait, what's different about them?
It's a natural weight loss approach. Dr. Tom and his team help with appetite suppression, energy boosts, hormone balancing, and the FM diet, it's not about starving yourself or exhausting workouts. It's about resetting your body to burn fat the right way.
I'm Dr. Waldorf, chiropractic physician at Active Life Integrated Health, where our natural approach helps you lose weight safely and effectively without extreme dieting or chemicals. Call 775-842-0065 today to schedule your complimentary consultation. Also, the first 25 callers who mention promo code Health Matters will receive 10% off of your treatment program. So call 775-842-0065 to boost your energy and start losing weight today.
Hi, I'm Nathan Osmond of OsmondHomeLoans.com. I'm part of the elite team at Security Home Mortgage and want to become your preferred lender. There's never been a better time to lock in the rate. Unlike many of our competitors, we will not outsource your loan. Our setup, processing, underwriting, and closing staff are all in-house and will help you every step of the way. If you're looking to buy a home in Utah, or if you live here and wish to take advantage of historically low rates, then I am your mortgage man. Be sure to visit OsmondHomeLoans.com today to receive a free quote. That's OsmondHomeLoans.com.
NMLS number 2043092.
Unable to listen to the whole show? A recording of today's program will be available later today. Visit americamatters.us and click on the podcast link. Now back to the show.
Folks, we are back with America Matters. I'm Leo Zacky with Eddie Floyd and Shannon Lawson. And I wanted to move on here to a subject here that we can talk about. It's what's going on in Silicon Valley. If you know what's going on there, there's a school that was founded by Priscilla Chan, the wife of CEO Mark Zuckerberg, of Facebook,
Right.
Instagram, Meta as they now call it. And it's a primary school, a tuition-free private institution that once promised a new blueprint for education in America. It was a bold experiment launched in 2016 in this primary school located in East Palo Alto and later expanded to the East Bay. The school has announced that in the 2025-2026 academic year will be its last. So in their own words, it was a very difficult decision, but digging deeper, there's a broader story at play. So the closure comes amid a noticeable pullback from DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, because those are the three pillars of, the reality is the three pillars of a failing state. Anyways, these initiatives, both by Chan Zuckerberg and Initiative and Meta, earlier this year, the internal communications at CZI revealed that the DEI programs would be winding down, creating shifts in legal and regulatory landscape. So it's part of a wider trend among tech giants, reevaluating social commitments and political and economic pressures. So the critics have exposed a range of concerns regarding the closure of the primary school and the tuition-free private institution co-founded by Priscilla Chan in 2016. The school's mission was to integrate education, healthcare, and family support services for low-income students in East Palo Alto and San Leandro, whatever. The lack of transparency and the suddenness is what's kind of surprising here. Many parents and community members feel blindsided by the decision, citing a lack of clear communication from school leadership. And at a recent meeting, school leaders did not provide a detailed explanation for the closure, leaving families uncertain about the future. One parent shared that her autistic son was devastated by the news, asking, "Mom, what can we do so the founder doesn't take away our dreams?" It's sad to hear kids say that, but every kid's autistic nowadays. So concerns over the DEI commitment here. Closures, coincides with rollbacks with diversity, equity, inclusion. These initiatives, both by Chan Zuckerberg and Meta here, because they're the ones making it happen. All the things that the school championed, they're now rolling back on, and because they're rolling back on it, they're, I guess, doing away with the school. So, it looks like this thing's going to fold, and it's a shame that kids aren't going to have a school. But was it really a good school? If things like DEI are like constantly the subject of what is emphasized for these kids, is it actually teaching them anything, or is it teaching them how to be victims?
That's right.
So I think it's good. It's definitely a good thing that it's closing because it was probably just pushing propaganda like you wouldn't believe.
Right.
I'm sure it was, probably well funded, and the students were getting, amazing technology and all these things to work with. But if they're working with that stuff to just learn DEI, blue haired, policies, then it's not doing them any favors.
Wow. Leo, and please, if there's anything you left out on any of the prior segments, just tell me and say, hey, before we go there, I want to say the following, because right now I'd like to go to Florida versus Snapchat, okay? And I just, by the way, just seconds ago received this from our good friend Jeff. He does such a good job, okay? But he didn't break it out. So if there's anything else you want to say about prior segments, do so. Otherwise, let's move on to Florida versus Snapchat, my friend.
Yeah, please. Let's talk about that. So on April 21st, just 2 days ago, Florida Attorney General James, I don't even know how to read that. Uthmeyer, okay, filed a lawsuit against Snap Inc., alleging violations of a new state law, HB 3, designated to limit minors' access to social media. The state claims that Snapchat is letting kids under 14 onto the app without, parental consent, and it isn't verifying, the consent for older minors. Not only that, the lawsuit access to Snapchat of using addictive features like infinite scrolling, snap streaks, autoplay videos that contribute to poor mental health among young users. Add in allegations of exposing minors to explicit content and even predators, and, you get a seriously expensive case.
Right.
Well, folks, if you don't want your kids screwing around on Snapchat, don't give them a device that can download it.
Amen.
I mean,
Amen.
how about just be an involved parent? You think of that? I mean, geez, got to make up all these laws and stuff about this. Look, for those of you who don't know what Snapchat is an app where basically you can send like videos or pictures to whatever recipient you send it to, and it has it's like a one-time view sort of thing, or only like will allow you to watch it like once or twice, and then it like deletes it forever. So if somebody tries to like screenshot it or whatever, it'll notify the person that sent it that person tried to screenshot it. This is usually used in sexting, if you're not familiar with that term. So people sending naked photos or photos of their reproductive organs or, body parts like that to one another. That's typically what it's used for.
Period.
So
that's exactly what it's used for.
That's what people have been using it for. I don't know if it was designed for that or not, but that's what people use it for. So, if you don't want your kids using this, be a good parent, get involved in your kids' lives, because now Florida wants to have civil penalties up to $50,000 per violation.
Wow.
I honestly, this is pie in the sky. It's not going to happen. This is really stupid. I mean, the fact that they're even having this conversation and coming up with this legislation, it's not going to happen. I'm sorry, but when in the history of a lawsuit has something like this actually happened and they're like, we're going to get every single violation?
Right.
Never happens. This is all just like, it's all just parading around. I'm virtuous. I'm doing the right thing. This is stupid. This is dumb. Anyways, so Snapchat, for its part, says Florida got it wrong. And the company argues that online safety and age verification are best handled at the device or app store level and not by targeting individual platforms. Well, look, how do you know, right? Because like if a parent gets their kid an iPhone, right, or an iPad, and I guarantee you that the parent set it up where they're the master on the account, right?
Right.
So as far as that device is concerned, the age verification is based on the person who's tied to that account directly with the credit card. So it just assumes that it's, Jane Doe, age 30, whatever, giving her, 8-year-old, kid an iPhone or an iPad. That's her account, but it's the kid's. She bought it for the kid, but she signed it up with her account, right? So as
Right.
far as the device is concerned, it's Jane Doe who's 30 something. So
Right.
this is oh god, I just want to
You
use
know, in Florida, Leo, we basically just call that bad parenting. Period. You
yeah,
know,
but it's
it's
just stupid.
yeah,
This whole thing is so stupid. So they're pushing back on the law itself, saying that it's unconstitutional, which brings us to the critics of the lawsuit, and especially tech trade groups like Net Choice are warning that laws like HB3 infringe on free speech and parental rights. And these groups argue that it's up to parents, not the government, to decide what kids can do online. Well, no freaking duh.
yeah.
Obviously, I mean, look, the internet is everywhere. We're living in a sea of information transmission, Wi-Fi waves, cellular waves. Like, it's everywhere. It's all over the place. Just be a freaking parent. My God.
Right.
But this is how we wind up in a nanny state. You have all these lazy ass parents that are just like, oh, government, come in and do this. I can't control my child. Oh, I saw my child was looking at, pictures of boobies online. Like, stop them. I can't do it. Oh, I'm too incapable. I'm a tard.
Oh,
Like this is ridiculous.
it's totally ridiculous. And I'll tell you what, if there's anything that I'm proud of, that's the fact that Florida, I think, is going to lead the way to straighten out a lot of this. That Donald Trump, he's got his hands full. Let's face it, Leo. Donald Trump has his hands full. He's already signed, I don't even know the number of executive orders, etc., and he's done one hell of a job in the first 100 days.
Yeah, he's done a pretty good job. Not the
Yep.
best, pretty good. Not the
Yeah.
best. I'm
Right.
hoping. I've been expecting more. I haven't received all the things I wanted, but I mean, look, this law could set a dangerous precedent for censorship and digital regulation.
Right.
That's always what this comes back down to. You got lazy parents that want a nanny state because they don't know how to manage their kids because they can't handle the kid crying, so they pass them the iPad or they pass them the iPhone and they go on these apps. And of course, they're kids. They're like a sponge. They can understand and absorb this technology faster than a boomer can bake a pie. So this is the fallout from this kind of stuff by people just being lazy and then saying, "Help me, government, you fix it."
Amen.
So
Amen.
stupid. It's so stupid. So, anyways, we got to take our bottom of the hour break here on America Matters. I'm Leo Zacky with Eddie Floyd and Shannon Lawson. We're going to take this bottom of the hour break, and we'll be right back.
Can you define the 4 different parts of Medicare? Do you have Medicare prescription drug gap coverage? At Nevada Senior Advisors, we will walk through the different parts of Medicare, including Medicare Advantage, Medicare Supplement, Part D prescription drug plans to help you determine which option is right for you. Visit nvsenioradvisors.com, call 775-674-2223 to set up an appointment. Nevada Senior Advisors is not affiliated with or endorsed by the federal Medicare program or any other government agency. Calling this number will direct you to a licensed sales agent.
At A Proper Fit Footwear in the Reno Town Mall, we've been accomplishing happy feet for over 30 years.
We offer a various range of shoe styles and sizes for both men and women. From all-season shoes and orthotics to work boots and safety shoes, our professional and reliable staff possesses the knowledge to help you find the proper shoes to fit your needs. Hard to fit? Hard to find?
A Proper Fit Footwear is here to give our customers happy feet. We make people aware of potential foot problems as we're sizing their feet, suggesting the right arch support, and guiding them to the proper shoes for their needs.
Stop by A Proper Fit Footwear at 4001 South Virginia Street in the Reno Town Mall today, and allow the owner Mike Jones and our fabulous staff to find the perfect pair of shoes tailored to your specific needs.
A Proper Fit Footwear in the Reno Town Mall, the home of happy feet, where comfort and your feet meet.
Meet Ingrid, fiery spirit carrying grandma, proud trucker.
I've logged more than 4 million miles in my truck. If people knew what I know, lives could be saved. I was driving outside of Ohio when a gentleman stopped suddenly in front of me. But it takes my 80,000-pound truck 200 yards to stop. I'd given myself extra room, but it's not a chance worth taking.
It's our roads. It's our safety.
Visit www.sharetheroadsafely.gov.
Are you shy and don't want to talk on the air? Text us your questions or comments to 775-237-2266. Now back to the show.
All right, folks, we're back with America Matters. I'm Leo Zacky with Eddie Floyd and Shannon Lawson. Well, we've been covering a few topics here today. I don't even want to move on to another one there, Eddie. Do you have some
Yeah,
text?
I do. As a matter of fact, I'm sorry. As a matter of fact, there is one that I would like to talk about, and we talked about all the main ones to begin with. However, right now, let's talk about, if you don't mind, and this comes from none other than Mark Paget, and he's in Daytona Beach, Florida, and he says, "I love your show, Eddie, and I'm going to ask Leo Zacky if he'll come speak to my son's college someday." Well, I guarantee you, if he can do it, if he's got the time, he will certainly do that. But he said, "I would like to know, Leo Zacky, or your take on the Colombian president, his visa being revoked."
Oh, yeah. So if you hadn't heard about this, so the Colombian president, Gustavo Petro, recently claimed that the U.S. revoked his travel visa. Well, according to Petro, the reason behind this was that it circles back to President Donald Trump, and somehow the icing on the international drama cake here was that Petro publicly referred to Trump as Donald Duck. Yes, that's really the claim that is being made right now. So during a cabinet meeting in Colombia where Petro explained why he'd be skipping key international meetings in D.C., he said, quote, "I can't go anymore because I believe they took my visa away," and joked that he's already seen Donald Duck enough times. So what sparked up this whole diplomatic dust-up? I mean, let's go back to 2025. January 2025, that is. And, under Donald Trump, yes, apparently back in the driver's seat, attempted to deport Colombian nationals via military flights. And Petro refused to accept the deportees and saying those planes weren't landing in Colombia. And Trump's response was to threaten a 25% tariff on Colombian imports and revoke visas for officials and ramp up inspections. So looks like these things heated up pretty quickly.
Yep. Got real tense real quick.
Yeah. So, eventually the two countries struck a deal and Colombia would repatriate the deportees using its own aircraft, and then the tariff threats were dropped. But it seems the aftershocks of that disagreement are still shaking up the relationship. So now, when asked about Petro's visa claim, the U.S. State Department gave a firm no comment.
Wow.
Citing confidentiality around visa records. And a U.S. embassy official in Bogota said, quote, "No formal notification of visa revocation has been issued." So was his visa actually revoked? Well, we can't say for sure, but what we can say is this. Calling Trump Donald Duck definitely added fuel to the fire and gave the media and the internet plenty to meme about.
Amen. Amen. Now this just came in, and I love it. This comes from Phyllis Clapton, and Phyllis Clapton lives in Sierraville, California, and she said, "Our female group is looking forward to the female show that you started last week because it's about time us females had a voice in the politics." And that's just a personal opinion, but it's one that I totally relish, and obviously you do too, or you wouldn't be having the show, Leo.
Oh yeah, well I think it's great. The women in politics thing, that's tomorrow, isn't it?
Yeah, that's tomorrow, 11 a.m. until noon, and then you and I do open mic again from noon till 1.
Yeah, well, that sounds great. We've got a lot of great people that are going to be coming on that show. I'm excited for that. I think it went well last time, right? So I'd like to
Oh,
see.
yeah.
I'd like to see it again. I think we got a lot of rave reviews, so get ready.
Well, I tell you what, when you say we got a lot of rave reviews, I got one from a lady named Deborah who wound up being the lady who bought the old Wiggins Trading Post in Chilcoot. And she's a good one, I think, or at least married to a good one because now it's called Goodwins. But she said that we held a vote at the end of what we watched, Eddie. We watched your entire show with Leo Zacky, and we had a unanimous vote, 36 women, and we know that's not a number that's going to carry the whole state, but just multiply it by the number of women's groups that you've been mailing out these videos to, and I guarantee you Leo Zacky's going to wind up with the female vote.
Well, I think I will. I mean, ladies love me. What can I say?
Well, I tell you, one thing I can say is that being with you in Mar-a-Lago, you hit the nail on the head, man. They really do, and especially when you cater to them like you've done. Okay, and I'm not just saying cater to them. You've actually helped them. You know, the women thought for a long time that hey, we don't have a voice. You know, we don't have a voice in politics. That's not true. They got probably the biggest voice that there is in politics, Leo.
Well, yeah, ever since women's suffrage,
Yep.
I hate when women like these like feminists, they all like, oh, women are marginalized and this and that. It's like, what are you talking about?
Well, I'll be honest with you. They don't know what they're talking about. They're just doing what you said. They're just simply talking right now. Leo, comes from Kathy Marvin. Kathy Marvin actually wrote in and said, and she lives in, I love this. She lives in St. Augustine, Florida. And she said, do you ever make it south, Leo, where we could invite you to one of our group meetings?
Well, south where?
Well, she lives in St. Augustine, so I'm thinking it'd be South Florida.
I mean, I was just in Miami for my buddy's wedding the other week, and I go to Mar-a-Lago quite a bit. So,
yep, that's true.
I get around.
You know, and by the way, you and I have a nice surprise for us. A gentleman, hold on, let me make sure I get his name right. Gerald Pack. Gerald Pack said, Eddie, I had no clue that you love stone crab the way you do. I've got 100 pounds for you and your political friend being put on dry ice and will be shipped out next week. So I love that, because you took me to a place, I believe the name was Henry's in Palm Beach. What a great
It was really good. Dude,
Yeah.
100 pounds. I know the season's about to come to an end, but 100 pounds. I mean, the shells don't even run, they're heavy, but like, oh my God.
Well, that's okay. Believe me.
That's incredible. That's wow. Wow.
You and I could mow through them, Leo. Believe me.
Easy breezy, but wow. That's a lot.
Damn right it is. And I want to thank Gerald Pack. And there's a little sub letter to his. He's the owner of Safe Harbor Seafood, the #1 seafood supplier of companies in Florida like Winn-Dixie and Rayleigh's, et cetera, et cetera. And it goes on and on. In other words, he obviously knows what he's doing. And the fact that he's willing to help us, I just absolutely love that, Now, let me ask you this. Someone asked, and it was a very important question. They said, would you come to our school and speak at our school? Is there a cost involved? And I failed to mention that because there's got to be a cost involved, Leo. You can't just hitchhike to these places. You got, even if you drive to them, what are we looking at in gas now? What's gas down at the corner of your street now?
Yeah, it's like $5.80.
See that? That's what I'm talking about. And I was complaining because we were paying $4.31 at our quote number one discount gas station
And
in
I'm
Hallelujah.
using the 91 premium price because that's the gas that I buy. So I
Right.
mean, obviously if you're getting 87 here in California, you'll probably pay you're still going to pay over $5. You're probably paying like 5.35 or something like that. But I think I don't know. At least the cars I'm driving need at least the 91, which is horribly inefficient. By the way, just for the record, 91 is not an efficient octane. In in Europe, the lowest octane they offer is 98.
Wow.
90 or 95, I think. I think 95 was the lowest I saw, but on average, you just see 98 or 100. You get really better gas mileage. You get way better horsepower, better combustion ratios. You travel. Yeah, I mean, think about it. Better gas mileage. Imagine just by having a couple parts per million more in octane, you can just get better gas mileage. And I've done this because I used to drive to Fresno all the time, and I know a gas station that sells 101 octane. And
Whoa.
so, yeah, it's great. You get a horsepower boost. It smells great coming out of the exhaust. But the mileage that I get, it's incredible. I can literally go on a 22.5 gallon tank. I can go from where I'm at here in West LA to Fresno and back.
Wow.
One tank.
That's unbelievable.
Which is, for me, it's 212 miles each way. So I get over 420 miles of range on a 22 gallon tank.
Unbelievable, Leo. I wish I could say the same thing. And I've got a little Chevrolet Equinox 4-wheel drive, but it does a good job. But still, I can't get the same type of mileage you're getting,
Well, that's the power of good gasoline, But, the EPA and the environmental regulatory agencies here love to tell us how, we're killing the planet with what's coming out of our exhaust pipe, which is nonsense.
Right.
It's all limiting. It's all control. It's all about what makes them money. Remember, it's all about making money for them. They don't care about you. They don't care if your life is better. They don't care if your life gets easier. In fact, everything they're doing makes it more expensive and more difficult.
Right.
But it makes them more money. So they don't care about you.
They don't care about us. It's all by design.
That's all it is. And you're going to have all these grifters coming out of the woodwork that are going to say, "Oh, I'm this person. I'm a Republican. I do and I do this and I've done that. Blah blah blah." No, you don't care. They don't care. There's all these pretenders out there. Look, they'll show up with silly hats or funny accents, and they'll say, "Oh, I'm the best person for the job." No, you're not. You're full of crap.
Yeah.
You're not from here. You don't know this state. You're not in it because you want to do the right thing. You're in it for your own agenda because you have an ego and you don't actually care about the people. So,
right.
Anyways, we got to take our last break here on America Matters. I'm Leo Zacky with Eddie Flo. When we get back, I got some videos I want to play for you.
Thank you, Leo.
All right, we'll be right back.
At a Proper Fit Footwear in the Reno Town Mall, we've been accomplishing happy feet for over 30 years.
We offer a various range of shoe styles and sizes for both men and women. From all-season shoes and orthotics to work boots and safety shoes, our professional and reliable staff possesses the knowledge to help you find the proper shoes to fit your needs. Hard to fit? Hard to find?
A Proper Fit Footwear is here to give our customers happy feet. We make people aware of potential foot problems as we're sizing their feet, suggesting the right arch support, and guiding them to the proper shoes for their needs.
Stop by a Proper Fit Footwear at 4001 South Virginia Street in the Reno Town Mall today, and allow the owner Mike Jones and our fabulous staff to find the perfect pair of shoes tailored to your specific needs.
A Proper Fit Footwear in the Reno Town Mall, the home of happy feet, where comfort and your feet meet.
Ugh, I'm so over this. I diet, I work out, and the scale won't budge.
I hear you. Nothing's more discouraging than doing all that work and seeing no result.
I just don't get it. I'm eating healthy, hitting the gym. What's your secret?
Honestly, I was in the same boat until I found Active Life Integrated Health.
Wait, what's different about them?
It's a natural weight loss approach. Dr. Tom and his team help with appetite suppression, Energy boosts, hormone balancing, and the FM diet. It's not about starving yourself or exhausting workouts. It's about resetting your body to burn fat the right way.
I'm Dr. Waldorf, chiropractic physician at Active Life Integrated Health, where our natural approach helps you lose weight safely and effectively without extreme dieting or chemicals. Call 775-842-0065 today to schedule your complimentary consultation. Also, the first 25 callers who mention promo code Health Matters will receive 10% off of your treatment program. So call 775-842-0065 to boost your energy and start losing weight today.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
To join the conversation, call 844-790-TALK. That's 844-790-8255. Now back to the show.
All right, folks, we're back with America Matters. I'm Leo Zacky with Eddie Floyd and Shannon Lawson. And I hope we got these clips up and ready. I don't know if we do, but one of them is country music singer John Rich on a podcast telling a story about, well, having dinner with Donald Trump and what that's like. And I wanted to share that with you guys because, look, we remember Donald Trump having those rallies on his way to, getting reelected as president. And he was always talking about the vaccines. And, well, he would get booed. And apparently, Donald Trump doesn't understand why he was getting booed. And let me tell you something, folks. Donald Trump, he's doing a good job, but he's not doing a great job. And you know why he's not doing a great job? It's because he's got crappy gatekeepers that insulate him from reality. And he's got bad people around him still, just like he did in the first term. He's got less bad people, but he's still got bad people. So take a listen to John Rich and what he has to say.
Great.
I don't know what's going on with it. Maybe I have to just do it myself because it's usually how it always has to happen. So give me a second here while I get this working. Sorry, folks. Bear with me. Bear with me. I'm going to do a screen share. I got to do it myself like everything. Here we go. So I've got that. All right, so here I'm doing a screen share. Share my screen. Okay. All right. Now here it is. Let's see if this works.
And everybody's eating their food, and President Trump is not president at this time, and he's talking to the senators and talking about really important stuff, and I'm just minding my own business going, I don't know how I got in this room. Well, okay. I'm sitting elbow to elbow with him. It's about an hour into dinner. I hadn't said a word, just been listening. And Trump gets through eating, and you've seen him do this move right here. Yeah. Wherever in the big boardroom he does this. Okay, that's what he does. He goes, can I ask you a question, John Rich? He never calls me John. John Rich? I look at him, I go, yes, sir. What's the question? He goes, well, you do a lot of big shows. Like, you're an entertainer? Yes, sir. You play for really big crowds? I go, I do. I play for really big crowds for a long time. He goes, well, have you seen these rallies I'm doing? Like, it's 30, 40,000 people. I said, yeah, it's unbelievable. He goes, so here's the question. Why are people booing me at my rallies when I bring up the vaccine? This is the question from the President of the United States. A guy who is very proud at that moment of the fact that he was able to stomp the gas pedal and get that thing out because he's under the impression this is going to fix the problem.
Operation Warp Speed.
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's a guy who, to his own admission, one of the biggest egos on the earth.
Yeah.
And he's very proud of this. And I respect him there is no limit.
Right.
But I'm being asked a very direct question. And so, man, I looked at him and I said, okay, I'm going to tell you the answer, and you're not going to like it. He goes, okay, what's the answer? You're going to look at me like this? I said, let me start off by saying this. We, the American people, do not trust the people that you were forced to trust at the time when this was happening. Let's start there. And I said, by the people we don't trust, here's who I mean. The FDA, the CDC, the NIH, the WHO, Fauci, and all the rest of them. I said, Mr. President, we consider them to be a bunch of murderous, depopulationist psychopaths.
And his reaction was...
Well, what happened there? What happened there?
I don't know.
We're watching it.
Oh,
Hold on.
He goes,
it's okay.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Hold on. Do we have it back? Okay. Sorry about that.
It's all right.
Unbelievable.
We playing the clip? You see it? You guys are seeing it, right?
Yeah, we're good. We can hear it. No problem.
Former presidents.
Yeah.
In his mind, one of his biggest accomplishments. And it dawned on me, nobody had told the man what I was telling him right now, because they all work for him. They all got something to gain from him. Yes. They're not going to tell him this because they're not serving him well. I don't work for him. And I think a lot of him, and I want him to understand the truth about it. So I said, here's the problem. Here's why they're booing you, Mr. President, because every human being out in that rally, either themselves or they know someone directly who has been harmed by the vaccine or has even died from it, including me. I said, I got members of my own family who were forced to take it against their will to keep their jobs, and now they've got all kinds of problems. Big problems, heart problems, lung problems. And he's looking at me, and he looks around the table and he goes, this is unbelievable. I mean, he goes, has anyone else heard this? Herschel Walker, he was running for Senate at the time. He goes, Mr. President, I mean, down in Georgia, my constituents come up at my rallies, and what John just said, man, I hear it every single day. Looks over at Marcia. Marcia's sitting there going, you know, looks around the table, and then Lindsey Graham, who's sitting across. So you're here, or I'm here. I'm sorry, but you're Lindsey Graham. Sorry,
Lindsey, everybody.
Okay. You're Lindsey Graham, and you're me. Okay. As I'm going into the part where I said, even in my own family, I have Lindsey Graham busts in with it swishing his Chardonnay around and said, Mr. President, if you listen to conspiracy theorists like John Rich, the Democrats are going to take credit for what you did, and they're going to beat you in the next election with it.
Oh,
and so I'm looking at Trump, and he's sitting over there, and he does that, and I looked at him, and I said, do not interrupt me when I'm speaking. Do you understand me?
What?
And he looked at me and he goes, well, I didn't mean to disrespect you. I go, yeah, but you did.
Oh.
So,
Right now you look like Wyatt Earp.
Trump is right here. You're Lindsey Graham, okay? I go, I'm holding him.
Oh, good. Yeah. You're Lindsey Graham.
I look back up at the president. I look at him one more time. I go, now let me finish what I was saying.
Oh, man.
And then I finished it. Okay. Trump ended that by saying, so I guess no more vaccine talk. I said, I think that's a good idea. I said, I think you're going to learn a lot about it. But yes, I think that's a good idea because that's the only thing that would make us ever boo you, Mr. President.
Yeah, because you're right. I mean, that's one of the things that I think a lot of people didn't agree with him on, and it was the vaccine and him being proud of it. And Jason actually has a story that's similar.
Well, the thing about Trump and the vaccine, Trump never mandated the vaccine.
No, exactly.
Trump said, you're all the doctors, go figure out how to make this stop.
We need to make this available.
And he trusted these people that we now all know are a bunch of depopulationist animals. We all know that now, but he never mandated it because mandating an experimental medical procedure violates the Nuremberg Code. It's a crime against humanity.
Yeah.
Which I hope we see that play out because people need to be held accountable for
Do you
that
think we
in a
will
major
see it
way.
play out?
I think it will.
Yeah.
So that was the story there. So, again, he has called me since then. He does text me back from the Super Bowl. He has invited me to more. So I did not lose my friendship with him. I think if anything, based on a couple of things he's asked me over the last year or so, he probably appreciates the fact that I'll say something to him that he don't really want to hear that. We're sitting there.
So yeah, pretty powerful, huh?
Yeah, real powerful.
So now you know where that vaccine talk all went away from. John Rich made that happen. But that proves, but this is furthering proving my point. And it's like, first off, why the hell's Lindsey Graham sitting at the damn table there? And why the hell is he even getting endorsed by Donald Trump again? That's another big PO of mine.
Right.
Not fond of right now. This is what I mean. Donald Trump he's a really good guy, but he's got really bad people around him still. He's got establishment rhino Republicans. He's got globalists that have infiltrated his inner circle. And it takes a real person like John Rich just sack up and say the hard thing. This is what needs to happen. But I'm glad that there are at least some people that are doing it, but clearly it's not happening in a significant enough way. So we, the people, need to raise our voice and not get swept up in this whole MAGA, madness and just be like, oh, Trump is infallible. He's perfect. I do everything he says. No. He has bad people around him, and it's very plain to see. I think he's a great guy. I think he's doing a really good job. He's not doing a great job. He's doing a really good job. He's doing a hell of a lot better job than what Kamala Harris would have done to this country.
Sure.
No doubt about that. But he's still got bad people around him. And when and you need to call him out for that kind of crap, because all the people that he pays a lot of money that are all buzzing around him, in his ear all the time are feeding him bull crap. Okay. When he does something that you don't like or don't approve of, stand up, make a note, make noise about it. Don't let that stuff continue to happen. It's that simple. Use your voice, America. So that's going to be my encouragement for all of you today. I'm glad I got to share that with you. Sorry for any technical hiccups with that.
That's all right, Leo. We appreciate it.
We'll have more great stuff for you guys tomorrow. The ladies are going to kick it off at 11 a.m. Make sure you tune into them. You're not going to want to miss that.
Right.
Thank you to everybody who tuned in today on America Matters. This has been one other great episode with Leo Zacky, Eddie Floyd, and Shamma Lawson. And we'll see all of you tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day.
Amen.